If you are a self-taught guitarist, chances are you are making at least one of these huge mistakes, and you don't even realize it. I've been a professional guitar teacher for 17 years and I've worked with hundreds of students. And I can tell you, these mistakes show up again and again in self-taught players, especially at the intermediate level. And the worst part? They're holding you back without you even knowing it. But don't worry, I'm going to break them down for you right now, so you can fix them and start making real progress on the guitar. Let's get into it. Mistake number 4. This is something I experienced firsthand and it nearly broke me. I remember playing a concert years ago, and by the end of one of our songs I was in so much pain that I wasn't sure if I could even finish the set. My neck and my shoulders were killing me. The song itself wasn't anything crazy. It was in A major and it had this main repetitive riff that carried the verse. Simple enough, right? But for some reason, every time we played it, I barely could finish it because of the pain. By the end of the song, I was barely holding on. At the time, I had no idea what was going wrong, but after that gig, I realized I couldn't go on like this. I had to find out why I was always in so much pain. So I sat down in my practice room and started investigating. Why was this song causing me so much pain? And then it hit me. I wasn't just pressing the strings, I was pushing them, and very hard. I was practically squeezing the life out of my guitar. So I started experimenting. How much pressure do I really need to make the note sound clean? And what I found was shocking. When I consciously relaxed, I could play the same part with at least 50% less force. And suddenly the pain started to recede. And this is something I see all the time with guitar students. Maybe they are not in as much pain as I was, but it is very obvious that they are using too much pressure on the fretboard or in the way they hold the pick. Try this right now. Grab your pick and squeeze it as hard as you can. See how the edges of your nails go white? That's unnecessary tension. And the same goes for your fretting hand. No matter which side you start to tense up, your whole playing will suffer from it. Your rhythm gets choppy, your speed plateaus, and the harder you try, the worse it gets. So in order to fix this, the first step is simple: awareness. Next time you play something tricky, pay attention. Are you tensing up? Usually the harder the passage, the more likely you are to apply unnecessary pressure. And once you recognize it, you can start experimenting and try playing with as little pressure as possible, even if your pick flies away. So let's say I'm working on this B7 lick. What I do is find a tempo where I start struggling and where my old habits kick in, and I instinctively try to compensate by gripping harder. But instead of giving in, I take a deep breath and force myself to play as lightly as possible, even when my body wants to tense up. So I know I can play this lick fine at 110 BPM, so let's push it to 120. And very often, even before I start, I can already feel myself tensing up. So I pause, I take a deep breath, and imagine myself playing it with ease, and then I go for it. So this is 120. And here we go. Once again. So, as you can see, it's definitely not perfect. And I don't worry whether I make mistake or not. I'm solely focused on how lightly can I play. And I know that once I master that, the lick will come out perfectly. And this is how you retrain your body. You are teaching it to move freely instead of forcing the movement. And the more you do this, the sooner you'll recognize when you are pushing too hard and you'll be able to fix it. But tension isn't the only thing killing your playing. There's another mistake I see all the time and it's keeping you stuck. Mistake number 3. Over the years I've seen so many guitar players fall into this trap that I even gave them a name: speed junkies. And here is how you can spot them. They play everything faster than necessary. They don't mind sloppy playing as long as it's fast. They hate taking breaks because they see it as a waste of time. They cram 15 exercises into a 30-minute session. Their fingers move faster than their brain. These students really been trying to improve, but they've been looking in all the wrong places. They are willing to listen to any advice as long as you don't suggest they should slow down. That is just not an option. Now, I am not here to make fun of them. In fact, I know this mindset all too well because I used to be one. But let me tell you, guitar wasn't fun at all. If you are constantly rushing, if you feel like the most important exercise is always the next one, and if you fly through material so quickly that your brain barely processes any of it, that's not real progress. I have worked with so many students like this, and ironically, their progress is always the slowest, even though they usually practice more than anyone else. It's like trying to floor the gas pedal while stuck in the first gear. You won't get anywhere fast. You need to learn how to shift gears. So instead of forcing speed, you need to match the speed of your hands with the speed of your brain. Think about it. If you play a simple scale and your notes sound muted, your fingers feel out of control and your pick is all over the place, that's a sign you are going too fast for your brain to process. The solution? Of course, slow down until you have control over what you are doing. Yes, it might feel frustrating at first, but remember, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And the same goes if you always feel like you have to rush through exercises, thinking the more ground you cover, the better. But it's not better if you are just going through the motions. The more detail and control you put into everything you do, the faster you will actually improve. I promise you that. So take a deep breath, ease off the gas, and watch how much further you can go. But here is the thing. Even if you slow down and focus on control, there's still one hidden habit that could be sabotaging your progress. It's something most self-taught guitarists never think about. Let me show you. Mistake number 2. Did you know I have mind-reading powers? I can predict exactly how good of a guitarist you are without even hearing you play. Sounds impossible, right? But all I need to do is ask you one simple question. How do you prefer to learn new things on guitar? And here are your options. Number 1 is tabs, number 2 is video lessons or YouTube tutorials, and number 3 is learning by ear. Think about it for a second. Which one do you rely on the most? Now here's the crazy part. If you picked 1 or 2, I would bet that you are stuck somewhere around the intermediate level. Maybe you've got solid technique, maybe you know a ton of songs, but deep down you still don't feel like a real musician. So if you rely on tabs and video lessons, you are basically using just your eyes to learn what others have played. It's like painting by numbers. You might get a nice picture, but you are not really learning how to paint. But music is all about sound, and you can really understand it if your main tool for understanding it are your eyes. Your favorite guitar players didn't learn that way, and you should not either. Tabs and YouTube tutorials are great once you get stuck with your ears, but using them right from the start is like watching the last scene of the movie first. It just loses all the magic. So if you want to become a solid guitar player and musician, you need to develop the connection between sound and your hands. And when you learn by ear, every song is a puzzle. And every time you solve one, you are not just adding another song to your repertoire, you are training your brain to connect what you hear and what you can play. This way, every song, every riff and every solo you learn by ear not only improves your technical abilities, but also your musicality. So the next time you want to learn a song, don't look up the tab, don't watch a tutorial. Instead, grab your guitar, listen to the song, and try to figure it out by ear. At first, it will feel impossible. You will struggle and you will get frustrated and you'll be tempted to give up. But as with everything else, the more you do it, the easier it will become. So if you've been relying on tabs and YouTube tutorials, it's time to break free from them and start using your ears. Because at the end of the day, music isn't something you read, it's something you hear and feel. And that brings us to the biggest mistake of all, one that instantly separates amateur players from real musicians. And most guitarists don't even realize they are making it. But the moment they start playing, everyone else can feel it. Let me explain. When you start playing guitar, there's one thing that immediately gives away your skill level. And no, is not how fast you can play or how many fancy techniques you can use. And unfortunately, most self-taught guitar players are not even aware of it. The moment you start playing, you are not just playing notes, you are creating an expectation of when the next note will come. You are setting the groove, shaping the time feel, and whether you realize it or not, your audience is feeling it too. And here's the catch: if your timing is off, people will feel it immediately. You could be playing the coolest lick in the world, but if your sense of time is shaky, it just won't sound right. It's like telling a joke with bad timing. No matter how good the punchline is, it's going to fall flat. And whenever I play for someone, I believe there are two things I should aim for. First is I should make them feel something, and second, I should make them move. That doesn't necessarily mean dancing, though that's great too. It could be a subtle head nod or foot tapping along with the beat. But if what I play doesn't even move me, there's no way it's going to work on someone else. Let's say I'm playing a simple groove. So it's not about how many notes I play or how complicated it is. My goal is to make it feel good, to lock in with the rhythm, to feel the groove deep in my body, and if I don't feel that connection when I play, why would anyone else? And this doesn't just apply to rhythm guitar. If I'm practicing a lick, I should be able to do the same, make it feel good and make it fit within the music. Let's say I'm working on a blues lick. So it's not enough to just repeat the notes over and over like a robot. I need to understand where this lick belongs, what kind of groove it fits into, and what the band might be playing underneath it. You've probably heard it a million times, practice with the metronome. And yeah, metronomes are great. They keep you honest, they build precision. But if you want to develop real natural timing, you need to go beyond that. Turn off the metronome, imagine a groove, start tapping your foot so you feel the pulse in your body, lock into the groove, and only then start playing. So if this is the groove, here's the lick. Sorry. Instead of just noodling random notes into thin air, focus on placing each note at exactly the right moment, with the right feel within the right groove. The goal isn't just to play the lick correctly, but to make it feel alive, like it actually belongs in the music. Have fun and enjoy the process. By the way, if you want to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress, this next video is exactly what you need.